all these people with their chakras and how they're claiming that their chakras are all open, but they're mentally fucked up. And I'm going, I am a firm believer that when you have real power, you can do this and there will be fire in your hand. And I'm serious. I am a firm believer that if you have real power, when you manifest that you want a staircase leading up to the sky just because, and you can climb it, that's power. That's what I'm talking about. So this is the kind of shit I see in my head. And I can see the science and the math coming in, going, okay, I understand how to do this. I know what needs to happen here. I understand atoms. I understand physics. I understand math and logic. And I'm going, okay. Now, there's 3 rules, and you cannot violate the rules. The first rule is it has to be logical. Now, if you know logic, and if you know literally the laws of physics and atoms, you can pull this shit off. Second of all, you have to understand time as it actually is, which is dimension theory, which is ontological physics, which is logic. And I'm sitting here going, all right. I'm understanding this. I'm understanding. It cannot violate the laws of science. That is the perimeter in which you must obey. And if you don't know the laws of science, you're not going to be able to pull this off. So I'm sitting here looking at this going, all right. So a person who actually has power, real power, has the ability to manifest 100% accuracy all the times within a matter of seconds, no matter what, and it will just unfold before you. Okay, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And the reason why is because it's all in our DNA and it's all absolutely in our reality and our perception at the same time. And at the same time, I'm looking at this going, it has to be logical. It cannot violate the laws of science. And you have to know it. You have to know it. So I'm sitting here, and that's my standard. That's my standard. And I'm going, all right, I'm at a point where certain things, most things, I have probably a 95% manifestation rating where it comes to fruition within 30 minutes. 95%. That's not good enough for me. I'm going, no, that's not good enough. That's too low a standard. I want 100% consistency every single time, no matter what. If I want knowledge, I manifest within 30 minutes. I have the knowledge every time, every time. But when it comes to actually laying it out, I'm going, nope, not good enough, not good enough. So I'm sitting here working on the math, the logic, the physics, the science. I'm manifesting the answers so I can build the stepping stones because I understand that it's all about logical sequence and making sure that the stepping stones are all aligned so that you can climb to get to that point. So I'm sitting here like putting all of the math together and I'm weaving this. And right now I've got a box. I got my treasure box. So every time you grow into your next trial, you're given a box, a metaphorical box. And in this box are all of the components and riddles that you have to solve for your trial. You organize, you group, you categorize, you settle, you then assemble everything, and then you basically, once you assemble it, you get a component, and then that component is a riddle. You solve the riddle, and then it gives you a key, and now you can advance to the next growth stage. This is literal. This is literal. This is esoteric talk. So if you don't speak esoteric, it's not going to make sense to you. And I'm sitting here going, okay, got my key, put it into the door, open the door, next. So I just got my next box for this perspective. And I'm going, all right, I know what I'm doing now, which I've known what I'm doing because this is the 58th time I've done this. And every one of you has your own box. Every one of you right now has your own box and none of you have even opened it. And that's okay. That's what you got to figure out is that you got to open the box. And then when you realize you have a box and you're supposed to actually go through and label and categorize and do math and logic and physics to actually do this. And then you have to put reasoning and everything together and you have to use the academic disciplines to solve your riddle. Then you'll be able, you'll get there. So I'm sitting here looking at all of this going, okay, how do I go from point A to point B? Oh yeah, I can feel it now. I can feel the energy. I'm just going to pull the energy all up here now. Like, oh, yeah, this is me going, oh, I don't want to be arrogant, so I'm going to constantly shrink myself. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be arrogant. I am officially arrogant, and that's okay. I am the ethical asshole. That's okay. And if my arrogance offends you, fuck off. So I'm sitting here bringing all of this in, and I'm pouring all of my energy into it. And I'm trying to figure out precisely what I need to do for the next step. which is what you should be doing for your next step. And I'm sitting here going, okay, so how the fuck do I do this? Where do I need to take this? Meanwhile, I'm sitting here looking at all of my trials, my challenges, and you also have to be working on making sure you're balanced and in the right mindset. So if you're a master at the mindset, which is literally about 7 different components of the self, with the stable self, with the 4 fruits that you are supposed to be pursuing, and if you have your 4 fruits, you're fine. That will stabilize you. And then you have the ability to pull from your 18 academic disciplines. You should have all 18 academic disciplines at this point. Once you pull your 18 academic disciplines, then you'll have all the tools required so that you can solve the riddle. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to solve the riddle. Well, I did just solve the riddle. Now I have to go through and I have to organize. But one of the trials that I noticed right away inside of my box this morning was the trial of arrogance. And I went, oh, arrogance, that's back again. I'm really fucking sick of this, which means it's time for me to dive in head deep and just get rid of arrogance once and for all. So I am owning my arrogance. That's right. I'm owning my arrogance. And it's okay because I'm a BDSM mistress. And that's like kind of the thing that we do is we own our arrogance. And I'm like, that's right. That's right. I'm owning my arrogance. And it's understanding that your arrogance does not hurt anyone else. And if it hurts other people, well, they've got work to do. So I'm understanding all this now, and I'm embracing it. I'm stepping into it. And I'm sitting here with little tapes in my head. Well, what about my partner? Oh, my partner loves me. My partner loves me. And I'm sitting here going, well, what about, and I have, so what abouts? Let me tell you what abouts are. What abouts? What abouts and what ifs? What abouts is your logical comprehension self-preservation system. Oh, I got to translate that for you guys. You know, in the movie Inside Out, we're going to talk a lot about Inside Out on my show. Inside Out, you have fear. Fear runs off of, he's actually your self-preservation system. They mislabeled him in the movie. He is not fear. He's actually self-preservation. Fear is when your self-preservation isn't working and you done fucked up. That's your fear system. Self-preservation has a completely different agenda. Fear doesn't work with love. Self-preservation works very well with love and with fear. See the difference? So your self-preservation system is sitting here going, well, what about? Well, what about? And basically, they're the quality control person who walks into your life. Oh, you're going to make a decision conscious awareness. All right. So we have decision time being made. I want to make sure that you checkpoints everything that's in the quality control manual before we venture out on this quest. And adventure's going, really? That's adventure. That's identity. In my world, it's identity. Identity and adventure are the same person. And we're looking over at self-preservation like, really? And self-preservation is sitting there going, that's right. That's right. We got to make sure everything is all checked and balanced. Did you get your safety gloves and your COVID diaper? This is not an adventure if self-preservation is here. That's the first clue that you really have mental work to do and you need to go home and fix yourself before you go adventuring. Self-preservation is supposed to be here. Borderline personality disorder people, I'm talking at you. Because I used to be that person, so I know. So I'm sitting here now looking at self-preservation and I'm trying to have an adventure here. And self-preservation comes over with, wait. Did you get your winter hat? Where's your coat? You know, you're very enabling. Just saying. So I get all my shit together and it wants to go through the list. What about and what if? So it goes through. Well, if you're going to be arrogant, well, then what are these people going to say? What about these people? What about, I don't give a shit about the ones who want to be people pleased. You see, there's people pleasers. And then there's the people who want to be, we never talk about this. Why are we never talking about this? So you have the people pleasers, but did you know that there is the counterpart to the people pleaser? They are the pleasings, the people pleasings. The people pleasings are the non-growers who command that everyone pleases them. Why are we talking about these assholes? These assholes. I am so glad I did not dump my coffee all over everything because then I would have been like, I gotta go, guys, bye. And I would have hung up on you and it would have been really amusing for you and really terrible for me. So I'm really glad I did not at all dump my coffee. So we're going to talk about the pleasings. The pleasings. I don't like that word. We got to come up with a better word for them. So people pleaser are the people who have been beaten into submission under the non-growers. They're called the insecure non-growers. The insecure non-growers, one of these days I will find a word that will fit all of them, and then we can just put them into this little box and label them. That way we can go, oh, you're one of those, and we can just put them over there in the little box, and then they will all go away. And that is how it's going to actually go. So because everything says so. So people pleasers are the people who've been broken into submission by the insecure non-growers. The insecure non-growers are actually the people who demand being pleased. Please me, please me. I fucking hate the pleasers. So we're going to call these not people pleasers. What is the, I need to step into the world of philology. That's what I need, etymology right now. The world of philology. I got to think, what's the opposite of pleasing? To be pleased, to be pleased, the pleased, the pleased. Oh, I know what you are. You're one of the pleased. That's it. They're one of the pleased. I fucking hate one of the pleased. One of the pleased. The pleased. One of the pleased. So you have people pleasers and you have one of the pleased. So the pleased are the people who are insecure non-givers, and they go around commanding that everyone please them. And so we're all broken into conformation. That's the wrong word. We're all broken into conformity to cater to the pleased. I fucking hate the pleased. So I'm sitting here going through my needing to embrace my arrogance to be awesome so I can grow and accept and claim my power. And who cares if I get my power all over the place, because it sure as fuck doesn't hurt anybody. All it does is remind the insecure non-growers that they're not growing. So I'm having these kind of conversations with myself today. This is how I talk to myself. This is exactly how we have our conversations. You need to learn how to have these conversations with yourself. Now, I don't care how you do it, because you're going to have to turn this into your own thing, but this is how I do it. I sit down with myself and I assign everybody a theatrical performance. I am conscious awareness. Conscious awareness manages this whole shindig. I am in charge. Yes, I am in charge. Even though I am identity's little bitch, I am in charge. So identity is in charge, and I am her little bitch, and I do everything she says for me to do. So, and her job is to tell me what she wants, and I make sure she gets it safely, says self-preservation. So you see how this works? So she says, I want, like a 5-year-old with a lollipop, I want this. Okay, she's going to get this. Ethically, says conscious awareness, because I know when things don't happen well, you got to be ethical about it. Shit's going to go down. So it has to be ethical and safe, says self-preservation, right? So we have, it has to be safe. It has to be ethical so she can get what she wants. Now that's the problem. If this were a story, and it is, that would be the storyline. It would be so-and-so identity. It's always identity. Identity wants, but safety and ethics are in the way. And you have only one path to go. There's only one right path. That right path, this is why they call it the right path, is the ethical safe way. Not so safe, because safe is boring. We want some adventure. Fine, but nothing stupid that's not ethical. You know, that's a really good point. Self-preservation as ethics. Because the whole purpose of the ethics is to make sure you grow so you don't cause harm. That's like the only law of the ethics. Do no harm. Do no harm. Like that's the only law of the ethics, is do no harm. And then the 12 ethics go, this is how. It's the 12 ethics. They show you how to not do harm to self or others. That's it. That's the only rule in life. Do no harm. So once you understand that that's the only rule in life, and it's really easy to follow. There's only 12 stages. It's really fucking easy. You just got to keep practicing them. So the more you commit to do no harm and you commit to the 12 ethics so that you don't do that harm, you're fine. And then you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want, and it doesn't hurt anybody. And that's when I learned that there's a lot of stuff that we do that doesn't hurt anybody, but the pleased tells us it does. And I'm going, well, I got the law book, literally nature's law book on how to cause harm to people and how not to harm people. So now I know when the insecure non-growers are lying to me, because according to Mother Nature, it doesn't fucking hurt them. They're just not doing their job. I'm not impressed. So I had a whole point to this. What was my whole point? I had a whole point to this. I'll look at my title, and that we're, let's talk about, fireball in the hand power. So fireball in the hand power. So I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, let's talk about real power. We're talking about measuring power. That's what we're doing. But we can't even talk about power because all of these asshole power police are going around going, oh, you can't have power. So it's like, all right, we got power bullies. Power bullies. I fucking hate power bullies. So we got power bullies, and we got insecure non-growers and the pleased. They're all part of it together. They're all like the power police. And it's all because they aren't getting off of their fucking asses and doing their own growing. They're just making everyone else shrink so they don't have to grow. And I'm like, no, you're disintegrating. They're the disintegrators. So one day I'm going to find a word that summarizes all of these people beautifully. And that's the word we're all going to go with, people. And then I'm going to put it in the Ashavana dictionary. That's right. So I'm sitting here going, I want to snap my fingers and have a fireball in my hand. Now here's the question. This is the real question. What am I going to do with a fireball? I just think it'd be cool. It would just be cool. I have no intentions. No plan. Oh, I could start a campfire. Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, yeah. That's what I would do. Instant fire. Like, that's it. Can you imagine if we all decided, imagine we're all elementals and we all have the ability to govern the skies and weather, but none of us can agree. So every person has their own weather. Like, that would really fuck up the planet. This is the kind of shit we need to think about. So it's not a question. See, I'm not an elemental. I have no desire whatsoever to, what do you guys call it? You guys call it something else. I gotta look it up. It's like a type of witch. And I can't remember what it's called. This is not my world. Can you tell? I step into that world and I'm like, they got a name for it. And it's the kind of witch that just like takes all of everything and puts it together. And I'm like, I do it all. That's what I do. So I'm not an elemental. I am not I want to be able to control water. Not really. I'm not interested in that. That bores me. I'm very happy with weather. I love weather. I'm very happy with the placement of all the weather outside. Very, very, very happy with it. I can understand how some people who live in areas like hurricane spaces, they would want to, I would understand that. Me, I don't care. I don't live in a place with dangerous winds. I do see flooding. Flooding is devastating. But you need to be smarter about where you build your house. I grew up in central New York where I got to see flooding. It was devastating. We had the president and FEMA there one year. It was that fucking bad. And then FEMA showed up and it got worse. So I'm sitting here looking at everything. And that's actually one of the questions I ask is, why do you want your power? Why do you want it? This is a really big question that no one's really asking. Why do you want your power? What are you wanting to do with it? And the only thing I can really come up with is, I want to snap my fingers, get a fireball and go, there you go. And I think it is because we don't want to be bullied anymore. Now, isn't this interesting? We just don't want to be bullied anymore. And we think if I'm really powerful, they won't bully me anymore. All they understand is being big. But when you're 4'11", you know, this is really the journey. This is the ethical journey at its core. This is it right here. This is it right here. Because while you are pursuing power, you realize that true power is self-control. Yesterday when I was online, I went in, made some statements because I wanted to make statements, and I left. Didn't think anything of it. Other people did. And they walked in and they just bombarded me. And I looked at their language, their vernacular, their everything. Oh, when people talk, it's a window right into their subconscious mind for me. So I'm looking at them going, oh, I can see all of your dirt. And I have a rating system that I use. This is the fourth ethic. This is, Anna does not speak to anyone who is not her peer. It's that simple. If you are not worthy of me, you don't get to talk to me. So I'm sitting here looking, and you need to be the same way. It's called standards. And that's what I teach people. shamelessly powerful. So I'm sitting here looking at this thing and I'm assessing everyone and I'm going, okay, you are definitely an insecure non-grower and you are definitely a power police and you are definitely someone who wants to be pleased. These people are not worthy of me. So I shut them all down. Most of them I ignored. Every now and then I put something down like, what did I say to them? I am not for you, and that's okay. And I added a little smiley emoji. I am not for you, and that's okay. And then I got banned from Instagram for that. Isn't that interesting? That is what got me banned from Instagram. Fascinating. And then I had somebody came back and they're sitting there attacking me. And I'm like, they were power police telling me that I have to conversate with them. Conversate. Do you remember that back in the 90s when we all said conversate for a while and then we realized it wasn't a word, so we stopped? Had a flashback there for a minute. We all were conversing there. And I saw her like, you have to converse with me. You have to do it. And I'm like, really? I have to converse with you? Are you the power police? Telling me who I have to have a conversation with? And then I went, this really reflects a lot about our youth back in the 80s. We were told who we had to talk to. Do you remember that? When parents were like, you have to talk to me. And we weren't allowed to say no. We weren't allowed to not talk. That's your power. Your voice is your power. You choosing who you give your voice to is your power. Did you know that? That's what I discovered yesterday. I've rediscovered. I knew it, but then I went like, oh yeah, this is kind of a really big deal. We need to talk about this. Your voice is your power. Because what your voice is, let me, see, this is sloppy. That's sloppy of me. Let me clean that up for you. Your voice is not your power. Your voice is the scope that directs your power. So you've got all the power inside of you. That's your potential. And when you speak, you are directing and you are steering and you are navigating where your power is going to go. And that includes you not talking if you don't want to, because you have chosen where you're going to put your power. So when you understand where you're going to put your power, it's really funny because everyone's talking about, oh, power, oh, energy. Do you know that your power is your energy, right? Your energy and your power are the same thing. It's your potential. Potential energy. Physics. So I'm sitting here looking at this going, all you're doing is literally choosing, freedom, where you're going to put your power, your energy. Freedom of using your own energy. Power of choice. That's freedom. So when I'm getting all of this stuff together and I'm looking at how all of this is, one of the big questions that I ask myself a lot is, why do you want the power? Well, here we go. Because I want people to take me seriously. But people think that serious means no make-believe. And all I can see right now is the Dalai Lama with a napkin on his head. People who don't know what wisdom and maturity is make it up. They pretend. So people who do not have actual maturity think that maturity is seriousness. And I remember in this episode of Gravity Falls when Mabel was going to be serious. She was going to be so serious. And she stuck her tongue out, picked up a candy, and ate it with her tongue. So serious. Like that, it's that level. And I don't know who came around with this concept of being serious. I was told that by that lady. She was like, you're going to tell people not to do X on the internet. Oh, yeah, I mentioned you need a maturity check. And she went, oh, you need to be serious. I do? Serious does not equal maturity. We need to talk about that. Serious does not at all equal maturity. Okay? Serious means not playful. Okay? This is actually a huge bit of dirt that I've been wanting to dig out for a long time. I do surgery with words. So not playful is serious. Serious is end the playtime. Maturity is wisdom enough to know that serious is not playfulness. Wisdom is the maturity to know that maturity has nothing to do with seriousness. And this is one of the biggest hating things that I really hate on this one hard, because the deeper into the Ashavana world I got, the more I went, wait, no, my playfulness. And I'm sitting, I could feel my wisdom going this way. And I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm taking my playfulness with me. So I've got my maturity, my wisdom, and I got my playfulness. These are my business cards. This is my business card. That's right. My business card. And I'm sitting here going, oh yeah, I'm mature and I'm wise and I'm playful as fuck. And it was something, it was so funny because this has been like my lifelong thing with me. This really goes back to, I remember when I was 4 years old and 8 years old. And I'm like, nope, I'm a mermaid. I'm going to be the mermaid for the rest of my life. I was very angry that I was not a mermaid. You have no idea how pissed I was that I wasn't a mermaid. Oh, there was blood shed in my mind. Why the fuck am I not a mermaid? I cried. And then my daughter did the same thing. My daughter, it was weird watching 25 years later, watching my daughter crying and sobbing, why am I not a mermaid? And I hugged her and went, I know, sweetheart, believe me, I know you're paying. I had the same rage toward the universe. I know. I wanted to be a mermaid too. It's okay. Yep. I was pissed that I was not a mermaid. How fucking dare Mother Nature bring me back as not a mermaid. So when I got to a certain point in my growth, I realized, oh, my playfulness is not going to be left behind. And then I read a little book by Douglas Adams called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I read, oh, this man's a philosopher. This man's a philosopher. He knows shit. And yes, he knows shit. And I'm going, well, if he can do what he does. And then I discovered, this is my favorite part, I love this. And then I discovered that Douglas Adams wrote for Doctor Who. And I went, of course he did. And I'm going, if a man like that can write for a show like that, oh, yes, we could definitely do this. So as I went down the Asha journey, it was a huge, my playfulness is mine and it's coming with me. And this was a really huge thing for me. And it's of all the things, and it's funny because I will not give it up. It's probably the one thing where there's truth. Oh, no. Truth is coming with me. So I grab truth and I have truth in my bag. And oh, no, truth is the very first thing in my bag. And then it's ethics, but then playfulness. So playfulness is in here with truth and the ethics. And I'm sitting there going, all right, well, now what's going to go in my bag? Maturity and wisdom. Now, when I got to maturity and wisdom, I went, wait, what about the playfulness? And this was a conundrum. I'm like, how the fuck do I get around this? Because and I had this conversation with myself. Self, who says you can't have those things? The insecure non-growers. That's who. Oh, the power police. That's who. That's right. The power police and the insecure non-growers. They told you can't have your playfulness and your maturity at the same time. Why? Because they don't have maturity or wisdom. So they don't know what it looks like. They have no idea what maturity actually looks like. They think maturity means no make-believe. So I decided I'm going to go all out and prove them wrong. And I went, I know how wise I am because I have the mathematical formula for being able to actually measure knowledge. And I'm going to be make-believe and playful all at the same time just to prove them wrong. So I'm like, all right, I can do this. I can absolutely embrace the imaginative, make-believe, playful side with the maturity and the wisdom. You can be mature and playful at the same time. You don't have to give them up. And the world really does revolve around these fucking assholes. Maybe that's just what we will call them, fucking assholes. Fucking assholes. And I'm just going to go in the Ashavana dictionary. You're going to go there and it's going to be like the fucking assholes. And underneath it, it's going to say the insecure, non-growing, pleased, who are the power police. I could write a book on the fucking assholes. I fucking hate the fucking assholes. They're fucking assholes. And they're running around running the show. I'm going to rule. No, I'm going to rule. And everyone else is going, you know, there's actually no ruling, right? No one actually rules. Only fucking assholes rule. The rest of us know how to be mature and self-govern. You're just a fucking asshole. So then the power police come out with their insecure non-growers because all they want to do is rule. They've invented this shit thing called ruling others so they can be in charge. You realize in charge is only there if you've got, like, do you see how this is going? And I'm like, this is bullshit. So I'm sitting here going, so why do you really want your power? Because you want to stop the bullying? You know how to really stop bullying, right? Because it doesn't take power, because you already got your power. Bullying ends when the mother comes home and says, you're being a fucking asshole. Stop acting like that. Go to your room. You don't argue with them because there's no conversation to have. There's no negotiation. They're fucking assholes. Go sit in the corner. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. You don't get reciprocity of the golden rule unless you're a nice person. If you're an asshole, you don't get the golden rule. You're going to get exactly what you give. Pearls before swine. No swine allowed. You're a fucking asshole. And you send them to their room. And they don't have to go to their room. But you sure as fuck doesn't have to give them your voice or your power. And here's the beautiful thing about insecure non-growers is the moment they realize they can't get your voice or your power, they're powerless. Because you can only rule a person if they consent to the ruled. Don't consent to be ruled. That's simple. Real simple. So there's like this massive, yeah, but what about? Yeah, that's going to be discussed over in my newsletter. I'm not going to talk about that here because I value my YouTube channel. So, yeah, censoring is real high at the moment. It's the watering hole. So, and I'm just going to say it, this is the psychology of all of this. We're just in a power dynamic. You do know that, right? It's just a power dynamic. And when you realize that you're caught in the middle of a power dynamic, oh, there's only one way to escape a power dynamic. I am the master of power dynamics. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a link. It's actually on my link tree down below, and you're going to want to look for my Satan's Wife Devil's Dungeon if you want to step into my power world, where I train you how to be shamelessly awesome. Yeah, that's where I'm going to be talking about power and all that jazz. Yeah, that's going to be my power class. Oh, yeah, power class. Self-authority, autonomy, and independence are like the highlight of everything I do. It's all about you with your self-authority and independence. That's all this is. It's absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Once you understand those ethics, the world changes for you. It's funny because I was writing down my Helix cards today, and I was going through the power cards, and it's all about power today. The fourth ethic is power control. Courage to own and accept your power. Self-authority over your power. Regulate your power. These are the 12 ethics. Be accountable over your power. Value your power. Ethics apply to you just as much as they apply to everybody else. Learn, observe, and silence the power of others. Talk to control and direct your power. Your power connects you to others. That was a fun thing to learn. Use your power to pull their poison out of them and then transfer nourishing love into them. That's the 9th ethic and the 10th ethic. Logic directs, plans, steers, and controls power. Grow your power. own your power. We're just in a power war. That's all that this is. The whole goddamn thing is just a power war. And when I wrote up the 12 ethics, I discovered them in Mother Nature. And I then transferred them over and I like condensed them down into something that people would understand and be able to use and apply in their own life. And I had no idea that it was power that I was working with the whole time. And this is interesting because this is the 5th round. I'm finishing up the 5th round of the 12 ethics. The first time I went through it, it was all about self-definition. The second round I went through, it was about self-defense. The third time was self-regulation, was self-refinement. The 4th round was in my own home. My own home. Finding my own place and building my place for me. The 5th round has been about power control. Power control. Mastering the discipline of controlling your own power. And once I got to that point where I could control my own power, I realized I don't have to hide anymore. I can come out and I can be arrogant and I can say what I want to say about my power. And I can talk about my power. And it's extraordinary. It really is extraordinary. The psychology of power. There is so much here to unpack. So much here to unpack. Like I can see me talking about this for a very long time, just dissecting this because I can feel it under the surface. And I'm like, yeah, I am just scratching the surface on this one. I can feel it. There was a little white thing that just appeared. And it's not. No. Interesting. I'm going to have to go back on the recording and take a look at that. I got to know what that is. That is very interesting. And all I can think of right now is there one of the Fae? I'm going to go play around and take a look at it because something just appeared right over here that was white. Not this. It was like right here. And there's nothing there. And I'm like, what the fuck? All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. And may the kindest of words always find you.